What if events had unfolded differently in the MCU? What if Sonic the Hedgehog was in Avengers Infinity War? What do you think would happen if Sonic was in the MCU? This is a very interesting Marvel's What If crossover with Sega's most famous character, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I always thought of this what if being something that I would have done a very long time ago when the first two Sonic movies came out, but it took me a little while to finally dive deep into this alternate reality and really manipulate events where I was satisfied. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge Sonic fan, and I love all of the characters within Sonic's universe, like Dr. Eggman, as well as other characters like Tails, Knuckles, and many more. And I've had a lot of people ask me if I would ever do a Sonic What If, and I thought, why not finally do it and pair it up with Avengers Infinity War? Now, that being said, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, I would highly recommend that you share this video with all of your friends. Also, do make sure to check out the Patreon, as you might have been able to see this video a little bit earlier before it got released. But that being said, let's enjoy the first ever appearance of Sonic on my channel and the first ever Sonic What If on this channel. Let's get into it. It was a normal day in Green Hills, Montana, for Sonic and Knuckles. In their goofy sleeves, Knuckles dared Sonic to race with him to see who was faster. Sonic argued that he was obviously faster than Knuckles, and since he could break the sound barrier on a daily jog, Knuckles was still persistent on racing him. Sonic dashed towards his room to change into his light shoes. The light shoes allowed him to travel faster than the speed of light, thereby breaking the sound barrier, as well as the light barrier. Knuckles and Sonic stood at the start point, which was their street. Sonic smiled because he knew that he would be faster because of the shoes he had on. Knuckles pounded his fist, signifying that it was time to go. They both took off. He was neck to neck with Knuckles, giving him the illusion that he could not go any faster. When he noticed that Knuckles was beginning to slow down, he harnessed the power of the shoes and pushed forward. Knuckles noticed that Sonic was going faster than usual and told him to slow down. Sonic told him that he could go even faster. He broke the sound barrier like he normally did. He pushed forward and eventually was running at the speed of light. Knuckles had long stopped since he couldn't even keep up with Sonic any longer. Sonic felt like he had more in him, so he added more speed to his feet. Running faster than the speed of light disrupted time, creating a portal ascending other dimensions. Sonic, who was unable to stop, immediately ran through the portal, accidentally accessing a brand new timeline. When Sonic came out of the other end of the portal, he slowed down and came to a stop when he slammed against the trunk of a car. He shook himself to restore his bearings. Sonic was at a loss where he was, because nothing looked familiar. He looked to marvel at the chaos that was occurring, and noticed a man pull off bricks from walls, converted them into weapons, with a mere flick of his fingers. Sonic was suddenly pushed back by a neon orange crystal-like force, just in time for a flying car split in half to crash into the position he was standing in. Sonic was pushed aside by Wong's spell to save him. Wong continued to battle with one of the children of the Mad Titan. Ebony Maw, who was also a children of Thanos, had trapped Doctor Strange with bricks into a wall in order to remove the time stone from the eye of Agamotto. Ebony attempted to remove the necklace that the wizard had hidden, and the time stone, when he touched it, his fingers burned due to an enchantment that Strange had casted to protecting it. Sonic had no idea who they were, but he recognized a bad guy when he saw one. Wasting no time, Sonic ran towards Ebony Maw, He ran along the brick wall where Ebony had bound Doctor Strange. When he was close to Doctor Strange, he used the wall as a force to push himself. He curled into a ball and slammed against Ebony Maw's face. Due to the speed of Sonic, the force of the hit disoriented Maw, making him lose his grip on Doctor Strange, and sent him clashing towards the ground. Strange fell to the ground, and Sonic came to check on him. Strange was shocked to see a talking hedgehog, but due to his familiarity with the mystic arts, he got over his shock pretty quickly. Strange noticed that Ebony had risen from where he was on the floor, and was floating towards them. Strange pushed Sonic behind him, and attempted to open the Eye of Agamotto to aid him and to fight better. Ebony created vines, which also went from the ground and wrapped itself around his hands and throat to stop Doctor Strange from opening it or even casting a spell. The vines would itself tighten around his body and pressed him up against the ground, rendering him incapable of movement. The vine had wrapped itself around Sonic's feet, preventing him from running. The vines tightened itself every time Sonic tried to break free. Maw used his telekinetic powers to uproot the ground where Strange was tied to. Sonic struggled to break free, but the vines kept tightening. Ebony was flying away with Strange towards his ship in order to remove the time stone from the Eye of Agamotto, which had been enchanted to prevent anyone from touching it, except when Strange opened the eye on his own. Wong, Tony, and Bruce, who were holding off one of the children of Thanos, Cull Obsidian saw Ebony taking Strange towards his ship. Wong told Tony and Bruce to hold off Cull Obsidian while he would save Strange. Bruce was incapable of morphing into the Hulk due to his initial humiliating defeat by Thanos on board the Asgardian ship in space, before he was sent through the Bifrost portal to Earth by Heimdall. A few meters away from the fight scene, Peter Parker was on a school trip when his spider senses kicked in. He looked up and saw the ship. After distracting his classmates in the bus to ensure that no one saw his identity, when he masked up, he left through the window. Wong, who had gone to help Strange, had casted a spell, pondering a neo chain between his hands and the ground, which was currently holding Strange, being suspended by Ebony Maw's telekinetic power. Ebony Maw noticed the tension when he tried to pull on Strange. He saw Wong holding on with two hands to the chain. He flicked his hands and a street lamp slammed into Wong, severing the link. The force sent Wong soaring backwards towards Sonic, who was still bound by the vines. As Wong slammed into Sonic, the vines binding Sonic were severed. Cull swung his metallic claws towards Tony's chest. Peter Parker arrived at the scene, swung in and held it. Peter asked Tony why the villains were in this universe. Tony explained that they were here to steal a stone from a wizard. Just then, Ebony flew above their heads, while dragging Strange, who was bound to the ground that had been uprooted. Tony told Peter to go after the wizard, who had been freed, felt his obligation to save the wizard. He was still unsure about how he got where he was, but he felt that it was fate that brought him here, and it was to save the universe. He was determined to use his speed for that purpose. He had to come up with a plan on how to save the wizard. Sonic looked around, and there were no buildings high enough to reach the ship or provide a platform for him to leap to the ground, holding Strange. He came up with a plan and hoped that it would work. He spotted the direction of the ship where Ebony Maw was dragging the wizard towards. Sonic ran towards them. He passed Tony and Peter, who had shot his web to hold onto Strange. Sonic stood directly underneath Strange, who was still bound. He began to run in a clockwise direction. The speed at which he ran created a vortex which sunk everything above them into it. The vortex pulled the ground which Strange was bound to into it. Ebony Maw struggled to hold onto Strange. Ebony looked for the source of the vortex. He saw a bluish blur on the ground running in circles. This intensed the vortex. The intensity of the vortex increased. When Sonic ran faster, Ebony Maw dragged a train from underneath the ground and threw it at the base of the vortex, where Sonic was running in circles. Sonic, who had not seen it in time, was whipped by the train. He passed out. The vortex stopped, and the force of the train sent Sonic backwards, into the direction where Tony was fighting the other child of Thanos. The effect had severed the web that Peter had initially connected to hold onto Strange. Peter reattached his web to Strange as Ebony entered his ship. Tony saw Sonic passed out and told Bruce to take care of him as he went after the ship, flying into space. Bruce took an unconscious Sonic to the Avengers headquarters. James Rhodes, also known as the War Machine, was the only person there, since the other Avengers had gone out to find Wanda Maximoff and Vision and prevent the Mad Titan from getting the Mind Stone embedded in Vision's forehead. Eventually, Sonic was resurrected. He was a bit uncomfortable by the laboratory environment due to his past experiences with hospitals and experiments. He was calmed by Bruce, who told him that he only saved him after the train had ran into him. Bruce asked Sonic how he had gotten into this universe, or galaxy, knowing that if Sonic was from a parallel universe, then maybe the Avengers would have never heard of Sonic. The Hedgehog told him how he accessed the universe on accident while he was racing. Bruce understood complexities of multiverse travel and knew that running faster than the speed of light would trigger a time dilation that would create a portal into another universe. Bruce told Sonic that he had ran a scan on him while he was unconscious, and he was startled by the power that was coursing through his body. Bruce noted that one of his quills was strong enough to power a city for days. He told him that he would help him get back to his home universe if Sonic assisted them in fighting the war coming. Sonic agreed to help him. Black Widow, Captain America, entered the headquarters after saving Scarlet Witch and Vision in Scotland from the other children of the Mad Titan, who had gone to take the Mind Stone from Vision. They saw Sonic still seated on the lab table. Bruce told them that he would fill them in later about the talking hedgehog. Captain America suggested that the crew go to Wakanda, since they would have the technology to remove the stone from Vision's head without causing significant damage to his body. When they got to Wakanda, after informing them initially before their arrival, Shuri had set up the machines for the stone's extraction. She told them that it would have taken hours before she would be able to successfully remove the stone from his forehead without complications. Steve noticed that the force field surrounding Wakanda was being attacked by the Mad Titan's henchmen, who were multiplying by the minute. Steve went with T'Challa to assist the warriors of Wakanda in protecting it. They left Scarlet Witch and Sonic to watch over Vision. When they left, a henchman had already broken into the tower and emerged from the passageway. He fought off the guards that protected the inner chamber, where the surgery was going on. Sonic heard the commotion and quickly dashed toward the scene. He stopped in front of the henchman, who had annihilated the guards easily. The henchman was initially shocked on seeing Sonic. Sonic used this element of surprise to his advantage. He ran and he jumped, curling himself into a ball, and slammed himself against the henchman. The henchman held onto the spike of Sonic, and as he flew back, he pulled one of the quills out. Some ran towards the other henchman, who had emerged from hiding. The henchman who had pulled out a quill sent a distress call to Thanos to tell him that he had found the last piece that they thought impossible. Drax Mantis, Peter, Quill, and Gamora headed toward nowhere to get the reality stone from the Collector before Thanos. As they got there, they saw that Thanos had arrived before them and had tortured the Collector to get information on the stone. Drax attempted to attack Thanos, but Peter tried to stop him. He told him that they had to wait until Thanos had the stone, so that they can take it from him. Mantis caused Drax to sleep due to his persistence on attacking the Mad Titan. Gamora eventually attacked her father and killed him while crying after killing him. Thanos revealed that indeed he had gotten the reality stone, and everything that had happened was an illusion he had created to test if Gamora still felt love for him. The crew then tried to attack Thanos, but he incapacitated Mantis and Drax. After he had woken with the reality stone and equally played with the imagination of Peter Quill, he captured Gamora and left to find the next stone. Thanos was unaware of the location of the Soul Stone, hence why he had to capture Gamora. On board a ship, Thanos received a message from one of his henchmen, who told him that they had found the missing piece that would make their plan more successful. He also confirmed that he had gotten one of the Quills and would give it to him when he arrived at Wakanda. After this, Thanos took Gamora to the chamber where he was torturing Nebula. Gamora was forced to tears and begged the Mad Titan to stop the torture. Thanos told her that he would stop if she delivered the location of the Soul Stone to him. Due to the love Gamora had for her sister, she agreed. She told him that the Soul Stone was on Vormir. Thanos cross-checked and discovered that she was indeed telling the truth. He began to tell her about the plans that he had for the universe, and how fate seemed to be on his side by bringing the missing piece. He told her that he had discovered the multiverse during his search for the Infinity Stones, and that he realized that the human life and resources he wanted to balance after he snapped his fingers would only affect their universe, and not the other universes. Thanos told her that he discovered that there was a way to achieve this balance throughout the various multiverses. He found out that in order for the Infinity Stones to have a parallel effect on all universes, he needed to complement the stones with a natural power source from a different species. He told her that they could not travel the multiverse without the stones. Therefore, he planned to use the Infinity Stones, when he had gotten them all, to search for the species. He smiled and told Gamora that the universe was in support of his decision by sending that very species to him. Gamora knew her father had gone insane because his plan to achieve world balance was pure evil, and now he wanted multiverse balance. After Thanos had told Gamora his plan, he sent a ship toward Vormir to retrieve the Soul Stone. Thor, who had initially gone to Nidavellir to get the new weapon, Stormbreaker, forged by the Dying Star, arrived at Wakanda and ended up turning the fate of the battle, as Thanos' henchmen were oppressing the Avengers. Thanos had arrived early on his ship in space to take the Tesseract, which contained the Space Stone. In turn, he killed his brother Loki, Heimdall, and most of the people of Asgard. Thor had reserved anger and was desperate to avenge the death of his brother and his people. Scarlet Witch had taken a weakened Vision out of the lab when Shuri concluded that she would be unable to finish the process due to the war and the limited time left to perform the extraction. Wanda had it in her mind to take Vision far away from where the wars was, in order to keep him safe for as long as he needed to, before the Avengers would defeat Thanos. Sonic had joined the other warriors on the battlefield, honoring the deal that he had made with Bruce Banner. Thanos appeared at Titan, his home planet, where Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Nebula, Iron Man, Mantis, and Drax were. Thanos had come for the Time Stone. He was prepared to battle them all, since he knew that they would not give up the stone willingly. Prior to his arrival, Quill had come up with a plan to remove the gauntlet from Thanos. They would jointly attack him and preventing him from getting proper bearings and of what was happening. Mantis would jump on his shoulder and induce him in a trance, leaving his body vulnerable, and they would use this opportunity to remove the gauntlet. The plan was working so far. Mantis had induced Thanos into a trance when Star-Lord asked the Mad Titan where Gamora was. Nebula told him that the last time she had seen Gamora was when they were going to Vormir for the Soul Stone. It dawned on Quill what Thanos would have done. He became frantic and repeatedly attacked for Gamora's location. Tony and Peter struggled to remove the gauntlet, which was at the palms of Thanos. And Quill's anger, he began to repeatedly punch Thanos while asking for the location of Gamora. The force of the repeated punches caused Mantis to lose her grip on Thanos' head. Tony left the gauntlet to restrain Quill from waking up Thanos, and Peter Parker had the gauntlet at his fingertips when Thanos awoke from the trance. He grabbed the gauntlet, slammed his head into Mantis, which sent her soaring through the air. Peter Parker immediately swung in her direction to prevent her from crashing to the ground. Thanos wore the gauntlet again and drew the moon towards them, as the moon slammed into them, incapacitating them. Tony Stark was determined to protect the stone that was safeguarded by the wizard. Tony used his best attack on Thanos, which successfully drew blood. The Mad Titan stabbed Tony, which weakened him and made him incapable of putting up another fight. Before the arrival of the Mad Titan, Doctor Strange had viewed 14 million alternate futures, and the Avengers had one and only one of them. He willingly gave the Time Stone to Thanos to achieve the one universe. Thanos fixed the stone into the 5th slot and stared at the empty 2 spaces, one for the Mind Stone and the other one for the Quill. Thanos used the Space Stone to open a portal to go to the location of his next agenda, the Mind Stone and the Quill. Thanos came through the portal and arrived at Wakanda. The henchmen had been waiting for his arrival, with the Quill in his hand. Thanos collected the Quill and disintegrated it into a sphere, the same size as the stones. He put it into the 6th space that was made for it. When the Quill was fixed into the space, Thanos felt unimaginable powers coursing through his veins. He had never felt power like that before, and he thought of what it would feel like if the stones were complete. He knew in his mind that he would soon find out. Vision was weak and he knew that there was no other way of preventing the Mad Titan from getting the stone. He told Wanda to use her chaos magic to destroy the stone. Wanda refused because she knew that if she destroyed the stone, she would kill Vision in the process. After much persuasion, Wanda agreed to do it. Thanos had spotted them on this arrival, and the Avengers had gathered to stop him, while Wanda destroyed the stone. Bruce, who wore a Hulk suit due to his inability to fully turn into the Incredible Hulk, went after the Mad Titan. Thanos used the Reality Stone, and Banner was phased through him. Thanos used the stones and made all the efforts of the Avengers inconsequential to his goal, to get the last stone. Thanos was moving closer to Wanda. She turned and used her powers to hold off Thanos while destroying the stones. Knowing that she would not be able to do both for long, she focused her whole strength on the stones and destroyed it, killing Vision in the process. Thanos smiled and told her that he appreciated her sacrifice, but called it useless. He used the Time Stone to rewind time and brought back Vision. When Wanda saw this, she rushed to stop him, but was slammed by the brute force of the Mad Titan's strength and the stones. He pulled out the stone from Vision's head and fixed it into the last space in the gauntlet. The power from the complete stones and the Quill was maddening, and Thanos knew that his plan to annihilate half of the planet across the multiverse would work. Thor and Sonic had sighted Thanos and rushed towards him. Thor leaped and threw the Stormbreaker at Thanos. The combined energy of all the stones and the Quill could not stop the Stormbreaker. It hit Thanos in the shoulder, wounding him. Thor landed and moved towards Thanos, who was weakened by the injury. Sonic sped past Thor and Thanos and stood behind them. Thanos snapped his fingers after telling Thor that he should have gone for the head. Nothing happened. Thanos looked at his gauntlet and realized that the stones were missing. He turned his head and saw that Sonic had the gauntlet and his possession of all the stones. Sonic turned to Thanos and snapped his fingers. Sonic was unaware that his own Quill had been among the stones, and he stole it from the gauntlet. When he snapped, he eliminated Thanos and all his henchmen. He also eliminated every villain across the multiverse. And that is going to end What If Sonic was in Avengers Infinity War. What do you think would have happened if this mega crossover happened with the Avengers as well as the Sonic universe? Do you think this would be a great team up? And if you guys do enjoy these crossover videos, do make sure to subscribe, like, share, and turn your notifications on so you and your friends are up to date with the latest content. Would you like to see Sonic return to the Missed the Part channel? Would you like to see Sonic return in Avengers Endgame? And also, I will be doing, there's another story that I actually have, and it's called What If Sonic was in Spider-Man Homecoming, that will be coming either sooner or maybe even before this video releases. But that being said, you're gonna get all that news on Patreon. It's starting at just $1 a month, so I would highly recommend that you click the link in the description down below to just check it out, see what's there. And if you guys want to support the channel, I would highly recommend that you go there to just look at what we got going, because it really goes a long way. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and have a great day.